back to the channel. So this is the last chapter of build a REST API with Golang. So we are going to create APIs now to our data layer. So create person and all the CRUD operations. So let's get started. So we are going to create a simple function called person handler, which going to handle all our CRUD operation like the post, get, put, and delete request. So it's going to accept two things: a response writer and request. And to return a response, let's first create a type called type response, and it's going to have three fields called message, which is going to be a string, and it's going to have a JSON tag which will convert this struct message field to a JSON message. And we are going to have a data of type person and error of type string. So data, when we are returning this person in a get request, that time we'll use data, and if some error occurs, that time we are going to use the error field. So let's just add the tags. Yeah, great. So yeah, let's initiate it. And we are going to send the response at the end of the this person handler. So for that particular thing, we are going to use the differ function, json dot new encoder. So we are going to encode this writer, and then we'll just encode the response. So we are going to add the headers to it, to our response. So we are going to add the content type as application JSON, like the whatever response we are going to send, it's going to be in a JSON format. And we are going to add a status code as 200 for the successful request. So as we are using this net HTTP package, so it's a very basic, so you don't have certain things in it. Like suppose if you want a particular route to be specific only for the get request or post request, we can do it directly by just adding one thing called dot post dot something. So for this particular thing, we have to add if else kind of condition which will listen to what is the type of the request, and accordingly we'll just handle it. Like if it is a post request, then we'll just allow it, and if it is a get request, we'll just reject it. So as we are going to have a single route called person, and that particular person going to handle all our four operations: post, get, put, and delete. So to handle this properly, we are going to use a switch statement which going to listen to the r dot method, which is the request, and it's going to listen to the first case called method post. So this http dot method post is a constant in the http package, and this method post is nothing but a simple string, uh, in caps, post in caps. Okay, so we are going to send the request in a JSON format to this post request. So before we are going to do any operation to it, we first have to convert it into a struct field. So we are going to initialize the var p person, and then we'll just use JSON dot new decoder, and we'll just give the decoding thing. So the body is inside our request in the r dot body. Okay, and then we are going to decode it in the person, and if there is any error, we are simply going to assign the error as error dot error. So this error dot error is nothing, it will just whatever error comes, it will return it into string format, and then we are just simply return it. And once we'll return it, so that differ statement will run, and whatever response we have created, it will return to the particular request. So now let's just call our create person with the person, and add the message as a successful thing, like person created, and the ID is assigned to it. So new person created with ID, and we are going to use percentile d for the integer values. So now let's create a new function, new case called http method get. And for this particular thing, we are not going to use the body field. Okay, because in get request, either we should use the params, okay, or simply use the fields in the routes. Okay, so for the end query, and for this particular thing, we are going to use params as a query. So how it will look like, it will look like this. Like suppose we have this URL, okay, and it has a route called person, and to define the query we will use this question mark, okay. Then the keyword of the query, here it is called ID, and then whatever field we want to give it. So we want to query ID equals to 1. So in the in the in the request we'll send this ID equals to 1 to query. So this we are going to listen. So to listen to it or to get it, we are going to use request r r.url dot query, and then we'll fetch the ID field. So the thing is, like, in the query we can have n number of IDs in it, sorry, n number of query fields. So to get a one particular thing, it's better to use a simply dot get and the field of the query. Then we'll just check if string id is empty or not, and if it is empty, then we'll just print invalid id, and we'll just return the response as the invalid id, and we'll just write the header as a 400 for the bad request. So it will tell, okay, this particular thing is and there is an error in the request part. So then we'll just convert the this string field to the integer. So for that we are going to use an inbuilt package called string conv, string convert, and for this particular thing we are going to use a function called a to I. So you can remember it as in like ASCII to integer. So this will take this string and return the integer and an error. Then we'll just handle this error, and if it has if the id is invalid, suppose someone has gave the abc, so that time it is an invalid id. So that time we'll just return the error, write header as 400, and we'll just return it. And if everything is good, we'll just call our read person with the id. We'll listen to error if that id is present or not, and we'll just log it, uh, read error, and simply response.error, error.error, whatever error is returned by our read person, and the write header as a bad request, and a simple return. And suppose if everything is good, that time we'll just assign this particular person to response.data. Okay, yeah, we didn't initiate it. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, that's it for our case method guide. Now let's move to our last method called update method. So for this particular thing, we are going to use case method put. We are going to copy paste the same thing. So for this method put, the field is going to be the operation is going to be same. For the id we are going to read the id using query, and for the body we are going to read the body using the decoder. So whatever we have done till now in the get request import request, we just combined it here. So after that we'll just call our update person with id and the person, and if there is error we'll just log it, and if there is no error we'll just simply uh, return the response as like person updated successfully. Now the last method called method delete. Okay, so yeah, we don't need the decoder part, we just need the id part, and we'll just call our delete person function with the id, and the basic error check. And we'll just add the message like person deleted successfully, person successfully deleted, and yeah, like now it's time to test it. So this is method delete, method put, get, post. Yeah, now let's just head the handler, http handle func. We are going to listen to person route and person handler. Great. Yeah, there is one mistake we had done. So At line number 54 in the person handler, so in the new encoder we have wrote as like writer in both the fields. So we have to encode our response, so just replace the our writer with the response and we are good. Okay, so now just let's run our application. Go run main.go. Okay, it will start the our server and it will initiate the data layer. So now just let's move to the uh, postman. So postman is used to test our apis, so if you don't have, just download it. So here you can see we are using the post request and the localhost colon 4044 and slash person. In the body section, we are using this raw format and type is JSON, and here we are sending name Mando and age 34. So let's just check it. You can see it created the new person created with ID 1. Okay. Now let's check the get request. So in the get request also, if you can see, the route is same person, but the method type now is get, and we are sending query params ID equals to 1. And if you can see, it has returned the data as name Mando and age 34. Now let's just update it. So the ID equals to 1 and age is equals to 35. Send it. Person successfully updated. Let's check if it's updated or not. Yeah, it's updated. Age 35. And for the delete part, ID equals to 1. Send. Person successfully deleted. And just check if ID is there or not. Yeah, person ID is not there. So this is the end of the lecture, and in this particular application we have completed uh, the data layer, we have created the test cases, we have created the APIs. So in the upcoming series we are going to use different frameworks like Gorilla Marks, Chi, Echo and other things to see how to create the APIs. So this is the basic one. I hope you like the lecture and stay tuned. Thank you.